Hi, everybody. Today is the 18th of February. I'm sharing my thoughts here and reflections on my surgery yesterday and my future as I'm starting now, resuming dialysis. It's about 3 in the morning, so in a few hours I'll have to get up, go to the dialysis center, and sit down for another dialysis treatment. The thing I learned about diligence is not to overextend yourself. It's very important not to overextend yourself when you make with your effort. It's not how much effort you put into things that makes it good or not good. You have to give the right effort to things. So the doctor, I think, probably wants to start on my other arm and working on it to install a fistula. But I'm not sure I'm willing to give my other arm to this project without some reassurance or common understanding that I need. Because just doing your best is not your best. Your best is doing just enough that you need to do, and then just trust in God for the rest. And so I'm kind of, feel a little stuck in a hard place because you're either relying on man's knowledge, man's means, man's strength, or you're relying on God's strength. That is the strength that with God's strength comes God's wisdom and understanding. And that's what we can't have without God. There's always, I like to watch these debates about atheists arguing with Christians. In a lot of ways, their arguments are very similar. More similar, I think, than dissimilar. Because nobody doubts the wonders in the universe and that there's mysteries in nature and there's miraculous powers that are there that can be found in science as well as in Christian faith and belief. But it always comes down to practice. What do you practice? Yeah, give me an example of how you practice. Then I'll tell you about the effectiveness of your beliefs or faiths have for you. So, anyway, I think about the Psalms in the Bible, the Lamentations of the Bible. They're all about alienation from God, experiencing separation from God, and also consecration to God. So as you feel alienated from yourself, from your family, from other people, you seek to draw closer to God as a source of your strength. And then, even then, it's only through faith that you find substance. There's no substance to be found without faith. One of the debates I saw was one between Richard Dawkins and John Lennox, I think was his name. And Richard Dawkins was arguing that if you believe in things that substance of evidence, that you don't need faith. And Lennox was arguing the contrary, which I agree that it does take faith. Everything is dependent on your perception and your ability to trust your perception, and what you're perceiving is what you're perceiving accurate or true, or is your perception simply coloring the truth? And everybody has to judge those things for themselves. So, am I kidding myself that I'm getting better and God's healing me? Or is that just another delusion, another God delusion, but still a delusion nonetheless? So you try to be honest about things. Do have faith, do trust, but then you've got to. It's the fruits of the Spirit. It's the fruits of your effort. If you put the right effort, then in due season, at due time, your effort will bear fruit. But not if you're constantly trying to outperform yourself. And that's where I see a lot of people going wrong. I, for example, at one point started to do more exercise, thinking that it would help me with my fatigue. And it did. As I did more exercise, I would experience less fatigue afterwards. But then it was also like a rubber band. I would end up also had more longer times of recovery, and it's just and I found myself struggling with other symptoms, such as exhaustion, just feeling exhausted, waking up exhausted in the middle of the night, just feeling exhaustion. So it's a balance, is what I'm describing. You have to find a balance, and within a balance of effort, then you start to find the way through it and the way past it. And so I'm back to meditation. I pulled out some of my shelving there, because I'm going through all my paperwork, bills, all kinds of things, and paperwork, things I've used for lessons over the years. But just now it's just pretty much just junk. So I want to get rid of all the junk and minimize the books and the shelving, and find a new place for things that will keep it organized in a good place for me. I really enjoy being home. I'm glad I'm not in a hospital. I've worked hard to get this far, to get back to living in my own apartment and not in a hospitalized environment or facility. The aids and help I get here at home is fantastic. They help me with the basic things I need to do to help me be more productive with my time, and that it's my time, that I can choose my time and how I want to be productive with it. In the hospital, you have to eat at certain times. Constant noise, people constantly talking, nurses making rounds 24/7, and it's just a bit chaotic, very noisy, chaotic, and confusing. Always different people. No one specifically is, it seems, is looking after you. So here you get personal care, and that's what I need. I need assistance, but at the same time, I need to moderation. I've got to be able to do things in moderation to do them effectively as well. So this is now the end of February coming. We're reaching the end of February soon. It's coming to the end of 2 months since I've been home. Got back on December 23rd, so coming up in a few days, 5 days, will be the 2 months since I've been returned home from the hospital. And it's great. I just want to continue as long as God willing. And so if any of you out there are looking for lessons, let me know. I do lessons on Skype, WhatsApp, FaceTime, Signal, and I do them in person. Come and see me, and let's do lessons. They're $60 a lesson, and I ask you to buy 3 or 4 at a minimum, so we can work on a plan, and most importantly, your vision of what success and what you ultimately want to achieve. So, in some ways, it's the best times in my life, and it's the most challenging as well. So, stick with me, pray with me, and let's move together. Let's do something together. I'd like to even start a Bible study or something like that sometime, perhaps, because I have a lot when I read the Bible I want to share with people. I just think people don't know the fundamentals of what the Bible says and what is taught in the Bible, and we're ending up with a lot of different points of views that are not really biblical. They're more of this worldly views that people adopt and then confuse with the scripture. You know, the whole story of God is the story of our relationship with God. It starts in the Garden of Eden. It is the story of man's beginnings when he is set apart and put in a garden where he was set apart for God, to have fellowship with God and to commune with God. And so that's where the story in the Bible really began. So God created and made everything that God made, he made for us. But it's for us to willingly also participate. We have our in his creation, and through our participation, we also can also have more fellowship with the Creator, with God himself. And so that's the biblical teaching that interests me, is the three things that has a basis more in the truth. So you understand that there's a truth in having to need for knowing God and serving God in your life. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. I'll be going to dialysis today, taking it easy today, a bit easy, because it's been 3 days here now. Dialysis on Monday, operation on Tuesday, and then dialysis on Wednesday. So that's a lot in a row to deal with. Okay, so I love you all. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.